Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. We have a yard machine on my table. This was one of the flood victims from last week. It's a 21-inch 675 190cc. So I had two of these. This is a standard pusher. I had a self-propelled. Both flood victims, they both had service tags on the handles. I'm sure they took them to a shop, and the shop said, hell no, it's going to cost way too much. So I'm a glutton for punishment. I decided to tackle the standard pusher. No rear wheels on this. I'm not going to mess with that until I know this is going to start. This is the Yard Machine Model 11 Alpha Dash Bravo 96 November 729. MTD, beautiful Cleveland. So I don't know where to begin. I guess at the beginning. So I kind of degreased it, washed off the silt, the bark mulch, kind of washed this thing down just to be able to work on it. Still a lot of peeling paint. So the first thing I did is remove the recoil. And when I did, I broke this, one of the 4 bolts off. So I got this off. Recoil was dead. I had to put a secondary recoil on. So what you do is turn it over. You take the your grinder and grind down the pop rivets. So that'll give you an open hole. Then you just take your stove bolt kit and bolt it. I took a little nail polish on the threads underneath so vibration wouldn't let the nut come off. You could probably use a lock washer or double nut it. So when it came time for the deal here on this broken off bolt, I'm getting ahead of myself. So with this off, I kind of thought this thing was submerged. We had determined it was above the handle, top of the handle, because it's all peeling and flaking up there. So I says, I better take the head off and check the gasket and look around. So I'm glad I did. Took the head off, and that's when I drilled out the hole here. I didn't drill it out to the same size. I drilled it out smaller and just went to my stash of bolts here. These are, a lot of them are self-tapping. Smaller here at the end of the screw, and then it gets fatter. So that's what I did. I found one that I could start with a few threads, used it with a couple of washers, so I've got 4 points of contact now. So that was that. Let's get back to the head gasket. So it would sit like this. Valves are on this side, like so. So you can see the deterioration here on the gasket. All this got soft and it was peeling. Probably some sort of electrolysis with the salt and the water. On this side too, it's peeling back. So I'm pretty sure I would have had a leak through the head gasket if I didn't correct this. Bubbled up, and so most likely with it sitting like this, all the water that was in the cylinder sat down here and just started corroding the gasket. So the other issue was rotating the piston down. I noticed a little blemish on the bottom of the cylinder. I couldn't really feel it with my fingernail, but there was a little blemish. Probably the water sitting there did a little bit of corrosion on the bottom of the cylinder. Not much, probably the diameter of this socket. So I'm hoping that doesn't create a issue with compression. So what I did is, with the valve open, the intake valve at the top, I just took a wire brush and twisted the head of the valve and just scraped. There was a bunch of white debris and crust on the valve, so I cleaned up both intake and exhaust. I ended up taking off the intake tube here. There was a bunch of white crusties down on top of the valve stem, so I cleaned all that out. I didn't take the exhaust off. So I think I did a good job of getting all the crusties out of it. New head gasket. I had bought a pack of these for the Quantums. So what do we got here? 4 left. I think I had bought a 6-pack. So that's that. Come time for the carburetor, this thing's all jammed up and stiff. I went to take off the bowl nut slash jet. This thing wouldn't budge, so I'm sure the bowl and everything else under here is corroded with white dust. Ended up breaking the throttle wafer because this thing wouldn't budge, so I stuck a pair of needle nose in, ended up breaking the plastic. That's no issue. I got some junk carbs, but getting this off is going to be a bear. So I just went with a aftermarket carb. So this was giving me beef. It seems like I have carb beef. So there's a little piece of white foam. They put it on top of the stem here on the throttle wafer. And what that was doing was lifting the stem up. So what was happening, the top of the brass wafer was rubbing the roof of the carb. So I tried to rearrange the brass wafer, shift it, nothing happened, and then I realized there was too much up pressure, so I took a razor and cut the foam in half, and it's perfect now. So all these little fit and finish issues you come across, you got to find a solution. So now we're free and clear. This thing was dragging with that full piece of white foam. Now it's moving as it should, so I'm happy about that. It had an inline fuel filter. I got rid of that. I got some Chinese hose here I'm going to use. I got the yard debris out of the tank, washed it out with water, let it dry, put some gas in it to make sure, shook it around, poured it out. Got rid of the milkshake here on the oil and just put used oil in, so we're in the safety zone on that. So this thing's been a pain in my arse. A lot of new components, and I don't even know if this thing's gonna work or not. This wheel is free and clear. This one here is grinding. That means the bushing is rusted to the axle. So I got to deal with that eventually. Same thing back here. Doing the same in the front. This is rusted to the axle and the plastic wheel is just going over it. So I brought the crew out with me. Been raining for 2 days. This is the only project I've worked on. I'd come out, do a little bit of work. It would rain. I'd go inside, wait for it to stop raining. Come out, do some more work. So I think I got an hour or so here where it's not going to rain, but I looked at radar. There's more coming in off the Gulf. So I complained to my daughter. I says, no sales last few days. She says, oh, if it's raining, you'll have sales coming up. And she's probably right. So let's keep going with this. Put it on, gas it. I got a block of wood, a block of 4x4. Put the ass end on that and try to start this. I had the coil off, cleaned up that, got rid of any excess rust. So you guys heard the amount of work I went through to get this thing to this position. What do you think my chances are? Good, bad? On this 2013. My only concern is that birthmark or beauty mark on the cylinder. I'll call it that. I hope that doesn't amount to much and be an issue for compression. I think it's small enough where it's not going to make a difference. I think we're starting off on a good foot with a new head gasket. Glad I did, while it was all apart, do the gasket. That would have been a pisser to have it have no compression. I would have had to start over. Dover. Okay, let's put the backing plate on. Everything's been degreased. There's still some grease on this thing. I mean, it's going to take some work. I'm probably halfway done with what I've tackled so far. Got to deal with the blade, see what condition that's in, get these wheels, find 2 wheels for the back, which shouldn't be an issue. And then go around with some heavy sandpaper and try to smooth out these big rust spots. So we're going to know in about 10 minutes whether I wasted 2 days worth of time on this thing. Cleaned off all the carbon on the head. So we're a lot better off than we would have been not doing that maintenance. Okay, these are all snug. So I was out earlier. Two guys stopped. They said, "Oh, your neighbor down the street told us you fix mowers," and they unloaded a Turo. So I says, "Let me look at it real quick." So I sprayed some 2+2 carb cleaner in it. Nothing. So I says, "Let me pull the plug," and I saw it was brand new. I says, "You changed the plug?" And they said, "Yeah." I says, "Well, what was the story?" He says, "I was cutting and it stopped all of a sudden." So I goosed it, did nothing. Checked the spark, I had spark. So there's an issue with something with that. We got spark, goosed it a couple of times. It should have kicked off. It did not do shit. Okay, what else do we got to do? Fuel it. Remove my tools. Oh, I got to put the fuel line on the tank. Chin the fuel line. That'll last 30 minutes. What else? So probably shouldn't have tackled this job. Probably had better stuff to work on. This came in a group, like I said. I think it was a Craftsman with the bent crankshaft way too far gone for me to straighten out. I already removed the engine. I have the deck ready to go. I probably should have concentrated on that and not this. So I spent 40 for this group. So if this rust bucket starts, I'm thinking 100, 110 for this. Make a couple of bucks. Okay, well, I'm just checking, make sure we're not dripping. Chinese fuel line seems to be solid. Okay, I think we're progressing. So maybe I'll do a video on this machine that got dropped off, figure out why. We're not getting any action. I said, "Did you hit anything?" He says, "No." So that'll be a mystery. So of course the safety brake cable's rusted solid. So I went ahead and loosened the spring, or took the spring off, so we have an open linkage here. It won't ground out. I gotta figure out where to put you. I've got my block of wood. I put on a new t-shirt for you guys. I thought I'm always looking like a shade tree mechanic. Now I'm somewhat professional. I got a clean shirt on, but no tie. Okay, come on, you. Okay, put the block back here where I'm not going to hit the blade. Make sure that's copacetic. Okay, that's looking good. Oh, blade doesn't look too bad. Blade looks good. Okay, one more checky check. Got the used oil in it. My kill linkage is on the go position. Still no leaking. And where are you guys? You're right here. Okay, place your bets. You ready? Freddy? Okay, I didn't know that if that kill wire linkage was going to work because I tried it just after I started. Didn't seem to want to kill it. So what's going on here? We got smoky smoke, just probably the condensation burning out of the muffler. So totally awesomeness, I would say. Started but smoked, which I don't care about. I had put some oil around the cylinder when I was messing with it, so it wasn't a dry movement. So yeah, I'm happy. What do you guys think? For being underwater. But it wasn't my normal fix. I had to do a lot as far as parts replacement, head gasket, new carburetor, recoil spring was broken. That was the deal with that. I tried to rectify it, but the spring broke. So I've got the aftermarket recoil on it. So it's going to have to be degreased again. Wheels, blade look brand new. Just touch that up so it's nice and sharp. And I think I'm happy with this 2013 yard machine. Turd, comment below. What do you think? That seemed to hold on my sheet metal screw. I'll put all the engine numbers, serial number, engine model. I'll put all that down there for you. The MTD number. Okay, that's all I can show you. You guys have a nice day. Like I said, kind of happy. Spent some time on this. It would have been a pisser if it had crapped out. So I'm happy. And I think Ducky and Clucky are pretty happy about it too. Because they're going to get fed. If I can make money on this junk, these guys are going to be taken care of. You know the drill. Tip your waitress and wait staff. Adios, amigos. Might be a lot of water in the muffler. I hear it gurgling like it's boiling. Thing's probably filled to the gills with salt water. See you.